Good morning, students. I am Dr. M.S. Setnati, Department of Physics, Nehru College, Hubli. Today we are going to discuss modulation and demodulation topic. So, what is meant by modulation and why it is required? See, when a person talks, his voice can reach about few meters. Now we want to reach the same voice to several kilometers. We cannot send this signal directly. So sound signals have a definite frequency. And if you reach these sound signals of low frequency to the distant place, what we have to do? For example, if we go by walk, how much distance we can travel? If we want to reach certain place fast, then what we do? We have to use the vehicle. So same way, if you go by motorbike, you will reach little earlier. If you go by car, you will reach more earlier. And if you go by train, you will reach earlier. And if you go by aeroplane, you will reach faster than all these vehicles. Same way, if you want to send the audio signals to the distant place quickly, you have to use a vehicle. So that vehicle is called high frequency wave, and usually that is electromagnetic wave. Sound waves are not electromagnetic waves. First, the sound waves are converted into electric waves by means of transducer, and then they are ride on the carrier wave, which is of higher frequency, and that higher frequency wave is sent in the air to reach the distant place. So that's why this modulation technique is used for the communication, for example, radio and television communication. And if you want to receive that signal, again these waves have to be converted into sound signals. So at the place where these waves are received, the antenna is used to receive the signal, and it is demodulated, means the carrier wave and the riding wave are separated. So the separation of carrier wave and riding wave is called demodulation, and mixing of the riding wave on the carrier wave is called modulation. And how this modulation and demodulation is carried out, that we are going to discuss in detail now. Well, students, let us understand what is modulation. So let us take a carrier wave. So carrier wave is a high frequency wave. So it looks like this, which is traveling in this direction. Now it has got an amplitude of the same or constant amplitude. So this amplitude can be varied according to the amplitude of the modulating signal. So imagine that this is a sound wave, this is an electromagnetic carrier wave. Now, as the amplitude of the sound wave or sinusoidal wave varies in the same way, if the carrier frequency wave amplitude is modulated, it looks like this. So what it shows is, this is a modulated wave. This is modulating wave, and this is carrier wave. Carrier wave has got a voltage or amplitude, say capital VC. The modulating wave has an voltage varying, okay, so Vm, and the modulated wave has got an instantaneous instantaneous voltage, that is Vc. Okay. So if you look at each part, upper part and lower part of this modulated wave, if you detach, it looks like the modulating wave. That means we have made this modulating wave to ride upon the carrier wave. So this method is called modulation. Now, the voltage, instantaneous voltage of the modulated wave can be written as Vc, small vc is equal to capital Vc into cos of omega c into t plus phi. So this small vc represents instantaneous value of the voltage of modulated signal. Capital Vc represents the constant voltage of the carrier wave, unmodulated wave, and omega c is the frequency of the modulated or unmodulated wave, and phi is the phase of the carrier wave. So this is relative to the two waves, means reference between the modulating wave and the carrier wave. Okay, after understanding this, so let us now discuss about types of modulation. Types of modulation. There are three types of modulation. So first one is amplitude modulation, and second one is frequency modulation, and the third one is phase modulation. So the example I have shown here, by varying the amplitude of the carrier wave in accordance with the amplitude of the modulating wave, this is called amplitude modulation. So instead of this, suppose you vary the frequency of the carrier wave in accordance with the frequency of the modulating wave. See, when you are recording in a radio station, different instruments or different performer will have a different frequencies. So when the frequency of the modulating wave changes, the frequency of the carrier wave also changes. That time, if the change in frequency is imposed on the carrier wave, that is called frequency modulation. Same way, if the change in phase is imposed on the carrier wave, that time the amplitude and the frequency will remain constant. So that is called phase modulation. When you are doing amplitude modulation, the frequency and phase of the carrier wave will remain constant. When you are doing frequency modulation, then amplitude and phase of the carrier wave will remain constant. And when you are doing phase modulation, then amplitude and frequency of the carrier wave will remain constant. Any one. Now let us discuss the requirement of modulation. So what are the practical requirements of modulation? If you see, the first requirement is the length of the antenna. So how much should be the length of the antenna? The length of the antenna, the condition is must be equal to the wavelength of the transmitting signal. Suppose if you are sending the sound waves directly, the frequency of the sound waves vary from 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz. Suppose 20 kilohertz frequency we are transmitting. That time, how much the length of the antenna is required? If you calculate that, the wavelength of the 20 kilohertz will be 15,000 meter. That means 15 kilometer. Constructing 15 kilometer length of antenna is impossible. So that is why we have to use the high frequency waves. Suppose we use 1000 kilohertz frequency as a carrier wave. 1000 kilohertz frequency as carrier wave, then the wavelength corresponds to this will be 300 meter. So constructing of 300 meter length antenna is possible. So that is why the carrier frequency should be at least 1000 kilohertz. Or if you use more than that, higher frequency than this, then length of the antenna required will be less than 300 meter, which is practically possible. This is the first requirement. So now if you go to the second requirement, the effective power radiated by antenna. Effective power radiated by antenna. So that means here we can see the relation. The power radiated is inversely proportional to square of the wavelength. If the wavelength increases, then the power radiated decreases. So we have to use the high frequency waves to get the more power transmitted from the antenna. So this is second requirement. So going to the third requirement, if the different stations transmit the waves of the same frequency, then at the receiving station, the radio or the TV will play simultaneously the 2-3 stations, which will create the noise. To avoid this, each radio station or each TV station is allocated with definite frequency bandwidth. So the carrier frequency of each station, is unique. So one station cannot use the carrier frequency of the other station.